Hey, here with TheEZGZ, having a little carburetor stumble, and this could be you. So, this is how you deal with it. Hopefully you have a pleasant disposition on that particular day, and you've piled the car with a bunch of stuff, and this is what you deal with dual carburetors. It's sometimes aggravating, and it's where is the problem. This is an intermittent stumble where it idles perfectly, but as you drive down the road and get in the mid-range between main jet and idle jet, and you have a stumble. So I've dealt with it a little bit. I did a plug check. Number 3, oh wonderful number 3. It's always got to be 3. The problem, redheaded child, you know? So we just decided it'd be easier than trying to work in the car and dropping things down there where you don't have spare parts and they're not replaceable, to just take the entire thing off. Sometimes that's a little easier, and you will become better at it when you own dual carburetors. Nothing better when they're running good, but sometimes aggravating when they're not running so good. So you're in the wilderness and you found a picnic table, and you just happen to have this tray underneath to catch parts and keep things somewhat clean, and there just happened to be a piece of sheet metal laying on the picnic table next to your walking stick that keeps the carb somewhat upright for a undefined period of time. And now, with just a few tools, we're going to proceed. I had already gotten into this and I remembered you. And here is the idle jet on a Dellorto, and I've made it, and I love my split tail screwdriver because it usually allows you to pull everything out together. And now I'm going to put you on the tripod. I'm going to take the tip of that off. Oops, where are you? There you go. That top piece on the tip is what clogs up. Very small, and in this case that wasn't what was clogging up. It was the lower piece with the 4 holes in it. I could see through the holes, but when I took my spray cleaner, it did not spray through the way the other 3 did. So sometimes when you get deposits or something in your fuel system, you don't get it all out the first shot, and it comes down to what I'm having to deal with now, where you have to work at it, and maybe it takes several attempts to get all of it out, because it did improve hugely, but it's not something I want to take down the highway. If you're just scooting around the neighborhood, or you could stumble with it till you got time, but to go down the road knowing you have a carb issue and running 1-cylinder lean is a sure way of getting a burned valve or other issues, because that cylinder will and another hint, if it's backfiring through the carburetor, that generally, as a rule, is almost always a lean condition. Another thing that can create as a lean condition is a vacuum leak. If your intake manifold gasket is broken, or one of these nuts has come loose, and we did drive for quite a few hours at highway speeds, so you can get vibrations and things. All sorts of things can happen. So these are just some things that you may want to keep in mind or look at if you have issues yourself. And if you have dual carburetors, I promise you, eventually, at some point, you will have issues. As long as we are in this position, let me also show you this very small hole next to the, can you see it? Up there, now you can see it. There's the main hole where the jet was in, and then there's that small hole. That is the vent. This is where it draws in air. And this is where it will draw in particles that get past your air cleaner and they bounce around. You've got a lot of suction going here down into your engine coming through, but a lot of times things bounce around and a particle or two, and I can see a couple of specks. And those are the types of things that can get down in the vent, and maybe they'll run fine and you'll shut your car off and it was running perfectly. Then all of a sudden that speck drops down in there, and the next time you fire it up and it draws, it's usually the direction of flow is from this tip down, not from the four pieces coming out. It's going in from this end. And a lot of times a piece will lodge in there, and it won't completely block it. It will just partially block it. Sometimes it will even turn. I've seen a shell of a piece of varnish or something from dried up fuel, and it will move. Sometimes you can get a good backfire and it'll pop and snort and clear itself. Sometimes it'll work through. You never know. But I don't want to drive it this way. I'm going to check it out, and I thought I'd show you what I'm doing. All the same stuff applies if you have a Weber, except the Weber idle jet will be a screw on the side, usually on either side of your fuel inlet. It's the brass screw. Here you're looking at a big brass screw, but that is holding the accelerator pump nozzle, which they're the brass pieces that stick out there on the left side, and that's what squirts when you step on the gas, gives you that extra fuel you need for a smooth acceleration. So fuel level should just be above this shelf. It's right on the verge, so I'm gonna lift it up a little bit, and I can see something that looks like debris floating around underneath those holes in the lower layer. That could be part of an issue. So there you have it. Want to make sure your accelerator pumps squirt. And remember what your spark plugs look like as an indicator to help you. Float level almost looks like it's high on that, but we're going to take that float valve, the inlet valve, apart, check it as well. And it always works perfect when you're done. So there you have it. How to service your dual carburetor in the field, literally. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subbing. TheEZGZ out. Who's having more fun, mommy or baby?